Welcome from the break. Welcome to the second hour of the dialogue on Salt TV as we focus on Kawempe North by-election process described by Baguma as a solid poll and characterized by violence. And I take the honor now to sympathize with fellow journalists who are nursing wounds. Looks like we became legitimate target for security agencies this time. For the first time, I can see that. And for the first time also in this particular election, we saw masked individuals in the name of security. For the first time, we saw violence targeting journalists. And I implore you again to be part of this discussion as we head into the last segment of the dialogue. Send your comments and observations on 0701 609906 if at all these are the signals or the signals of what will come in 2026 are now very clear. That's the question. Honorable Tinka Simide, I wish you conclude and tell us exactly what comes to your mind seeing all this happen with only a few months to a general election.
Of course, we are getting more and more prepared for an election where we are going where we are going to have issues like what I saw the journalists in 2015 saved me from being rigged. I mapped out a house where there was going to be pre-ticking of ballots in one of the sub-counties in a hotel. I went there with a panga with the journalists to disperse the group.
With a panga?
Yes. I entered the hotel swiftly, and they were also following me, the journalists, because I had told them they were from NBS. I had told them. I fortunately found the group when they saw me with a panga, they took off. Unfortunately, there were some policemen who were also guarding the process. Like what you saw Senyonyi busting into. When they saw me, the policemen sort of got out of the hotel and ran to the police post. So when we reached here, everyone had run away, and with the journalists, now we decided to go to the police post. For us, we were saved. For me, this happening by that time, we were covering by live. Live coverage was being allowed. This story was captured live.
Wow.
And the rigging, the security men who had prepared to enter into the process. They withdrew. But now, here is the situation where security men are saying we must rig. And they beat, there would be people to expose them, to get them out of the process. Because what happened in Kawempe North, the media houses they received very many reports that their journalists were being wounded and badly. Because I met somebody, a journalist from NTV, he had been, you can imagine, hitting this part of your head.
Yeah.
This one.
That's very close to the brain.
Yes. This one, the guy, first of all, had spent the whole day. They picked him from the house. He gained the conscience. His conscience. He was hit at towards midday. He gained his conscience at around 8:30.
Yeah.
That's when he realized he was in the hospital. Then he starts to see few things, recognize his colleagues, blah, blah, blah. That state where you inflict unnecessary pain to the fourth estate your intention, as he said, is very, very clear. You, other than coming in masks, you want now to operate in darkness and maim people, kill them, abduct them, do all sorts of havoc. Sorts of havoc. I actually, when those things happened, when the media houses started withdrawing their reporters, I started thinking NRM was going to win. Then I moved to one of the polling stations that is near my business place in Kamocha. There is a polling station inside the Gor. There was a member of parliament who was an agent, and there seemed to be calmness. When I talked to him, he said, "No, we have made sure that every polling station has a member of parliament." So it became extremely very difficult for even the security people to cause havoc on the polling stations. To contain this whole thing was contained to come and do ballot stuffing, and these new people, they also became bright. They removed the uniforms. They removed the uniforms.
The red overalls.
Yeah, and overalls. They started operating as normal people, and they became very rough. They were not allowing anyone with. They would not, as long as you are suspicious, they would see how many ballots have you been issued with.
So NUP outsmarted the scheme to rig the vote, are you saying?
And indeed, when the time for counting came, capturing those results in the result declaration forms, they picked immediately the result declaration forms. So they went with the true result declaration forms to the tally center. That's why they would dispute any result. The returning officer tried to declare that was not that had not come from the polling station, from the polling station. But of course, some of them slipped out of their hands because you cannot explain where we have 27,000 people voting, and now you count 28 ballots, 28,000 ballots. That means over 500 ballot papers were just brought and put there. So the Electoral Commission must exercise high level of restraint because in most cases they come from Electoral Commission. There is no reason, there is no way you can say we have 27,000 people voting, and at the end of the day you are counting 28,000 ballots. That means they are those ones which were voted either by one individual, the 500 were brought and put in, just ballot stuffed.
Either way, NUP took the vote.
No, either way, even when you win under such circumstances, such rigging should be condemned.
I am particularly concerned, Honorable, about the numbers, the low turn-up.
The low turn-up was as a result of violence. Partly as a result of violence, where you could, whereas these people in security, those people with no brains, because if you have a brain, you would actually know that your violence is equally going to negatively affect NRM. Our supporters could not risk even going to vote for their NRM candidate. You scared them off. They suspected they would be beaten along the way. So they did not turn up. The second thing, people are getting tired. With this type of violence, who
can risk?
Is it worth going to vote? Why do we go to vote? Actually, they were saying, because the security are controlled by President Museveni, people were saying, Museveni karondo wayagala.
That's the level where we've reached.
That is what was happening. That's what was happening. But this was also an unprecedented. I have not found it, although people are getting fatigued in going to vote. Going to vote. This was unprecedented, where 160,000 people registered to vote would choose not to say, me, I will not go to vote.
120,000.
For me, this is scaring me. As we go in the next round of general elections, I'm asking myself, whom are we going to mobilize that is going to come and vote for us?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable. Let me now read some of the comments that are coming in, but I implore you to send in more comments. My producer will run the number on the screen, 0701609906. We are reflecting on events which played out during the Kawempe by-election. Hello. Air Force 15 has landed. It's been a while since I last posted, and I suspect this is okay. But now that USC results are out, I'm back on board non-stop. How I wish some NRM people could reason like Honorable Tinka Simire or Fono Pondo, then Uganda would be very far. NRM is no longer ashamed of doing weird things, even in broad daylight. They can reach with impunity. They don't care about what you say anymore. Why deploy terror on your own citizens? God have mercy on us. Anyway, congratulations to Honorable Narukola and the entire family of Kawempe for standing their ground. Uganda is for us all, not only NRM, and those Kawukumi in security circles. Not all men and women in uniform are bad people. Next year is going to be bloody for the Fourth Estate. As for South Sudan, we need to just pray for them. It looks like only the Holy Spirit can save them. Here in the United States of Chirinya, we are cool for God and my country. And I suspect, whereas there is no name here, this is Major Tim Joel from Chirinya. Thank you so much for that comment, and we are happy that you are back. I read the comments. Good morning, Mr. Apollo. My parents used to tell us that no matter how many times you wash a goat, it will still remain smelling as a goat. And it's true, our security forces, mostly army, will never change its behavior. We have seen Solido 1 and 2, Solido 3. Solido 3 will tantamount to Amin's regime. Greetings to my friends there, mostly Honorable Tinka. I'm James Nimbale. Okay, I'll read the comments. It's becoming interesting. Tinka Simire, Honorable, speak about the targeted attacks on the media and its implications, especially as we head into 2026 general elections. You say it was a mismanaged concealment of identity. What would they hide? And anyway, Tinka Simire, your namesake says this actually even affects the NRM candidate. People will not come to, even NRM people will not come to vote for their favorable candidate. Favorite.
First of all, I think there was an interesting angle to the violence that the architects of the violence may not have thought about. And that is the radicalization of the NUP so-called foot soldiers. Yeah, you see, something about fear. Fear is a revolutionary tool, depending on on who is fearing. The revolutionariness in it is that sometimes people reach a threshold and stop fearing. Now, that is an interesting turning point. And so some of the actions in the Kawempe elections, in my view, moved some people towards that threshold. And not just the Kawempe people, but, you know, several others who watch. Because you see, even when the DPC UEFA was boxing, you could see these boys still coming. And so when you are not alert to those happenings, you sometimes don't see. But it also means that these people go back to plan,
Yeah.
to strategize. By the way, now no longer with the command of NUP, but with the anger and whatever. So how do we deal with these guys who are coming this way?
With Solido.
So what other methods now do you see? And you have seen them in many movements, liberation movements. When people start thinking that they want to liberate themselves, then they go away that you, the one who was meting out this violence, may not have looked into. That's one. Two, I think for me, it is the level of base. I don't know how to describe it, the baseness, the level of the people whose thinking capability is almost non-existent. You see their behavior, and you know that these guys, their thinking capability is very, very weak. It means that you also have a problem, that you are regular, well-trained, and people who judge situations. It means you are not deploying them. It means you are going for the guys who won't think.
Oh.
So what does that do within the forces themselves? What are you doing internally in the forces themselves? And you know,
The riffraff.
yes, it means, and you know, we sometimes don't see these things. And you see, like when you have an underwater waterfall, on the ground, the water looks very calm. Just there, get into there. So I think that radicalization and therefore the fear transformation can be extremely game-changing.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think it's something we need to think about. Now, think about the fear. I was myself thinking, if I was a voter in Kawempe, and I don't want to be openly noob because I am not, I am unlikely to step out.
Sure. With that heavy deployment.
No, just the
violence.
hostility of the other noob guys. You see, I lived in Lunguja. One of the elections, and it's been that was an opposition. I think it's been largely opposition, but there was a Buganda, non-Buganda element at that time. The women were supportive of Museveni. I was quite active then. And what the young boys would do, they would come with the pangas, and you know, scratch on the verandas.
Oh.
Yes, come to the windows of the bedrooms and shwai. I say, you are the ones who are making 7 winners. You go and you will see us. So you see, this then makes you, even who may be pro-Tinkasimere as the party,
NRM.
you fear to get out.
You will also stay away from the vote
Absolutely.
because of the violence.
So yes, so it becomes counterproductive.
The fear.
Because you think you are in charge. But the other thing for me, if I was a Kawempe voter, I probably wouldn't have bothered to vote.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the outcome was predetermined. I think NUP was going to win with the landslide, so I probably wouldn't have bothered to go. I would have said I can go with my other business. It's just that the margin of not going. And finally, I don't know why you people still debate ghosts in Uganda. I want you to tell me something that doesn't have ghosts.
Ghosts as in these masked.
No, you said that there were votes. The votes,
Oh.
the ballot papers were more than the voters who came. So it means those were ghosts who voted.
Yes.
So why do you even debate ghosts? Just tell me one sector, one
Full of ghosts.
that doesn't have ghosts.
This
So
week.
if you have ghost voters, this
Even this week.
the ghostiness is
People were arrested in Ntungamo for having ghosts pupils on.
no. Those were the ones who were dramatic in the
UP
newspaper. And you ask yourself, why were those dramatic? Me, I told
So
you,
we have
we
ghosts
found a
everywhere.
ghost school many years ago in one of the districts, but it didn't come in the district.
The impact of this move to target journalists. What would be the consequence and the impact of, especially as we head into 2026?
It depends on how the journalists will react. First of all, the consequences are that you have a rapidly increasing list of journalists who have been disabled physically disabled. Now, when you look at the violence in like the Gaza,
Yeah.
the Israeli forces were actually deliberately killing, not just maiming.
Yeah.
Were killing. So I can't predict that some journalists will be killed actually.
Oh,
Yeah, that will remove from the maiming.
God forbid.
Yeah, me, I do my predictions, and I usually come back and say, let's see. When you see the impunity with which these guys have been operating, many of them don't even hide faces anymore. No. You can see that the violence towards the media has exponentially gone up. The propensity to damage permanently has gone up. So I do not see why killing will also not happen. Because you have very low brain guys who are deployed.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. So their judgment, operational judgment,
is lacking.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Richard Baguma Tinkasimiri. And let me also read some few comments before I bring in Dr. Jared Wanzara. And you can keep those messages coming in. Hey, my name is Felesta. Thanks for the program. It's in vernacular, but let me try to read it. Zino naku abakulembeze baffe be bali mu kwonoona ekibiina. Ndi muna NRM naye tolina nagwoyita ne bw'oba ng'ofunye obuzibu nga kaseera ka kalulu n'essimu tebazikwata, so batereeze ekibiina benyini be bakisuula mwebale. Kale, thank you so much Felista for watching and commenting. Good morning sir. Greet for me my MP Barnabas Tinkasimire. Twagala atwekumbeere 40 years like Museveni.
Atukulembere.
Okay, atukulembere. Twagala nnyo era 2026 agenda kuwangula na 80%. This is Asimwe Achilles in Kagadi aka Rumira Mwoyo. Kale, thank you so much. Watching from that side of Bunyoro.
They are actually on KBS.
Oh, thank you so much. We are streaming live on Kagadi Broadcasting Services.
Yes.
We really appreciate the management and the proprietors. Good morning, Apollo. Thanks for the dialogue. Journalism is a fourth estate to keep the public updated. Doing your work, journalists should be vigilant. Case in point, what transpired in Namere about the suspected ballot stuffing. Journalists and the group led by the leader of opposition didn't have a search warrant to access a private society. I think he made property. Journalists should not participate in criminal trespass. Meanwhile, the high deployment and battering journalists is putting democracy at a test. Emma Wangolo is also a journalist, and he says subscribe to his channel, Inspire Africa Forum Uganda. Thank you so much, comrade in profession. Thank you so much for watching and following. Hi, I wanted to express my gratitude for hosting Honorable Tinkasimire Barnabas on your show. I am a huge fan of his work, especially the impact he has made in Kagadi. Although I am currently in Chankwanzi, I'm always inspired by his dedication to serving his constituents. Please extend my appreciation to Honorable Tinkasimire for his tireless efforts. Regards Byakatonda Dennis in Chankwanzi. Thank you so much, Byakatonda, and all our viewers in that part of Uganda. What a shame. Government hunting its citizens whom they are supposed to protect. Okay, you didn't give us your name, but I can see from the status it is marked busy. Okay. Hello. Honorable Balam came up with a group of guys on 2 Hilux pickups, and their aim was to cause chaos in Kawempe Mbogo. And these were protected and guarded by security operatives. More so, I was there when a salt media journalist was head knocked by a UPDF officer because he had recorded them arresting an assistant from Honorable Mutazindwa's camp. Though he deleted the clip, still was beaten. Actually, our old journalists here were also victims of that violent attack by security. Thanks, Mr. Apollo, but do it well knowing that a leopard cannot change its spots. Uganda will breed and is still breeding until the day we shall get a civilian president. He says, like father, like son. Douglas Bender, thank you so much. That is your comment and it is your opinion. Good morning, Apollo, and to you all. Thanks for the program. About Kawempe issues, the police should be questioned. Who are those solid people employed Okutulugunya? Actually, police at some point withdrew. I don't know whether they withdrew and the army took over. I don't know if you really you'll make a comment on that, because police is supposed to be at the forefront of managing elections.
Sure.
And somehow, and even the silence from the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission has not even issued a statement on the violence. I don't know. Okay, Soul TV. I'm Ramadan from Uganda. Nasana for me. I see things differently. What I see in Kawempe saga was to make sure that NRM is not being humiliated in the by-election, because if the deployment wasn't like that, the people of Kawempe was going to humiliate NRM. Really? You respond? Try to put down those comments. Good morning, man of God. Sorry for long chat. Okay. The beating of journalists is a grave concern that affects not only the individuals involved, but also the broader community. To grasp the context, let's examine the region's historical background, marked by rebellions, conflicts, and even attempts to form a separate republic. Hey, remember the Kawempe. This turbulent history has created a complex and sensitive environment. When discussing the beating of journalists, it's essential to acknowledge the challenging environment in which they operate. The region's history of rebellions can lead to tensions between the government and certain groups. However, this does not justify the violence against journalists. Regarding the victim, their professionalism and scope of coverage are crucial to consider. Hear this, Baguma. Did they provide balanced coverage or focus on one aspect? This context can help us better understand the incident. Ultimately, violence against journalists is unacceptable. We must promote a culture of respect and protection for media professionals. By understanding the complex environment in which they operate, we can work towards creating a safer and more supportive space for journalists to do their critical work. Furthermore, I question the professionalism of some of the journalism displayed, which may have contributed to the incident.
Who's that?
This is Chisacham Kama Ministries. That's what I can read from your status, but you didn't give us your name. It's good to send a message with the identity of the sender. Denko Dubai City Buerero NRM is the one empowering NUP to win us by beating them, so those who are fighting NRM are inside NRM. Let police stop showing off beating NUP supporters, and NUP will be no more. Actually, that is something people have been saying from the beginning of this by-election, that some security operatives are actually making a vote for the opposition. If they beat them, they somehow give them hand them the vote. As police and army were beating people, the gang of Honorable Balam was helping security operatives to beat up people, and whoever was recording was beat up, and tools stolen by the boys and were putting on NRM shirts. Abdul Shaku Kawempe Mbogo. Okay, we cannot independently verify that claim, but it is your opinion. I will quickly go back to my panel and I will read the messages, but let me clear this one. What a shame. Okay. What a shame. Government is hunting its citizens whom they are supposed to protect. Geoffrey from Ikumbuyaruka. Okay, thank you so much. Messages coming in, but we are heading into our last segment of the dialogue. Dr. Jared Wayanzala, I don't know where you will start from. We have brought in a lot of information.
A lot of things happened, but one, I would like to commend some NRM people, like the director of the media center. I saw him in various spaces,
Ofono Pondo
condemning this and actually questioning whether some people in security are upright or the command has collapsed.
Even Dr. Tango
has
Doi.
collapsed. I saw Tango Doi. I also saw actually Mulindwa, the NRM spokesperson of the party, who was yesterday saying that they are making life extremely hard for them who speak for the party, and more harder for those who come from the central Uganda, where the NUP seems to be more dominant. Because when President Museveni lost to NUP in Uganda, he maintained some faces in cabinet and has been implementing some programs to try to bring back maybe the some lost love. But now incidents like this totally push away the people, because tomorrow you'll not go to the same people that you tortured, that you mimed, to go and get, campaign and you get the votes. Now, as you know, also in our society, outrage, you know, when you hit someone and you break, the impact is so strong because people will visit that person in the hospital, the person has relatives, the person has friends, and they will say this one was broken, his spine was broken by the UPDF. So how many people are you pushing away from the government? So these are the questions that people should think about. Now, with the Christians, we use a Bible, and the Bible to the NRM, the original Bible was the 10-point program.
Yeah.
If you look at point number 1 of the 10-point program, of course, I know the old NRA like Baguma understand it. But those who have come for money today do not understand that Bible. They're after cheering the president and the MK and they earn money. But point number 1 was democracy. Because they said there was deficiency of democracy in the country. Point number 2 was security of people and their property. What the security forces were doing in Kawempe was that promotion of security of the people and their property. These are questions we're asking the leadership of the country. Or we have decided to say, since it is 40 years, time again and ABI, so let everybody do what they are supposed to do. Then tomorrow you will see different gangs managing different places. Now, lastly, the issue of self-sustained integrated economy. Because an integrated economy means you are doing trade, you are having tourism, you are attracting foreign direct investment, and so forth. So you go and put billions in the PASAID, Presidential Advisory Committee on exports, and you give responsibility to attract investors. The next, and then you say go and market us in the media in Europe, in Serbia, wherever. The next day you have beaten journalists and all over the news, the Telegraph, the Al Jazeera, Washington Post. People who the general, you know, the tourists you are attracting, what they are reading about your country
is so different.
You know, they are seeing armed men on border and so forth. I'm aware there is a company here which invited its investors who are putting money here in forest. They were here this week, but because of this election, they received an advisory not to travel to Chiboga and other places because people did not know how this was going to. So it is self-defeating. You destroy the economy, and at the end of the day, you are not going to achieve the self-sustaining economy you are talking about. But one thing I know that the masterminds of this know that at the end of the day, it is we, the ordinary people, who they tax, who suffer.
Yeah, true.
But for them, they will bring supplementary budgets for, you know, we give them a budget in September. By January, they have come back for supplementary
bill was also passed last week in Parliament.
For actual classified expenditure had the biggest under different budget lines. So we are being taxed to spend classified expenditure on goonies, you know. So please, the leadership of this country, we are not happy. Some of us have been very loyal citizens of this country, but you are radicalizing the population.
Finally, from you, Dr. Girard, because we are winding up, are these actions, the scenes we've picked from Kawempe North by-election, in any way helping the NRM? Whatever their objectives were as a party in participating in an election,
if you're a commander who has a smaller brain or someone who pretends to have power, you will think you achieved your objective because one, many people stayed away, and therefore maybe the gap between the winner and the second reduced, and therefore you can say we tried. But in reality, this has implications on future elections. There are vulnerable groups for us who want elections who will look at the elderly, the women. When there is violence, they are the first people to stay home. Most of the people you saw in the line participate are the young ones who Baguma was saying have become very resilient.
Foot soldiers.
And they want to go man to man even when they are being beaten everywhere. But others, so it has implication on the voter turnout. Now when the voter turnout is very low, you know that it affects the legitimacy of a leader who has been elected. If you have 20 million voters, and in 2026 you have been voted by 2 million and the rest stayed home, so you are a president of who?
Thank you.
A leader of who?
Thank you so much. Let me look at SMSs. We lost election in Kabwempe because of focusing on using force other than mobilization skills. Nkanga Musa sent the message. Thank you so much. You hear now. The NRM also are not happy, are saying they lost the election because of the violence and what transpired in Kawempe. Thanks, Apollo, for the program. NRM based on fake promises by His Excellency, like in Uganda, and they wait for campaigns based on fake promises by His Excellency, like in Uganda, and they wait for campaign to showcase that they. That's why we see rough campaigns. Can you respond to that? Honorable, you have been in an election. That NRM mobilizers and those who are in the system of the party do not do their work. So during elections, they do their best and possibly that is why we see these acts of violence to show that they are trying to show the president that they are doing something.
No, I want to agree with whoever is saying and whoever thinks that the violence was against us. As NRM.
It affected NRM.
Yes. Because you are running a government. Dr. Baguma, I mean Dr. Gerard, told you the entire effect of that violence on our economy, on our tourism, on it's real. And who is feeling this? Yes, you are giving this person a privilege that for him he doesn't feel it because he's a beneficiary of a supplementary. He should go to Nakawa and ask that man who is in charge of URA the hurdle, all the struggles he's going through to collect
money,
taxes. People do not have the money. Companies are closing every day. The economy is shutting down. So we should be progressively thinking instead of wasting our time. Like the deployment which was in Kawempe, progressively they should have started thinking on how we can better our economy, how we can transform our people. And since we were thinking about Kampala, our major focus would be on how best can we do a socio-economic transformation of the poor people in Kawempe, of the poor people in Kampala, such that they can work as Ugandans. Because let me tell you the truth. The best way of campaigning is touching the souls of people.
Yeah, true.
My father was born and raised, is a veteran of the Second World War. He joins the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church is pegged to DP. For me, I am coming at a time when DP is strong in those people. My father had never left DP. He at one time convinced me, can you join DP? I told him, Daddy, NRM, this one, has very good values. when you look at socio-economic transformation, so I tried to educate him. He said, the way you see Museveni, does he believe in those things? But I gave him a benefit of doubt. So if we go on this trajectory of where now we move away from the core values of the party and implement something else, then we are lost.
Yeah.
We are lost. And I would pray that we return to the drawing board. Because we are here to stay.
Yeah.
Me, I don't want to go to opposition.
Yeah.
Because in the opposition where I will be, it will be a very dangerous opposition.
Oh.
It will not be this caricature of these people who pick money, but no, the DP group who sell an entire establishment to simply survive. No, I will not belong to that type. And I'm not ready to go there. So NRM, let's wake up.
Sure.
Where we have made errors, correct them quickly. I am hearing a guy who is saying a very big thing, that we make promises during campaigns. It's true. Campaign is a short period. It's a short period. We are like people who are on the guillotine.
Yeah, it's
Akambe. Akambe. Somebody has raised a panga and he is saying, what are you saying? Are you giving me this or not? Yeah? Or not? Because we do not want to be cut, we say, I will give you. You release the panga and I pass. And I pass. Sometimes it may take time. So we need to take a record of those pledges, of those promises we made on the
guillotine.
On the guillotine. We made such that we project that they can be fulfilled maybe in the next term.
Yeah.
They become part of our major campaign manifesto.
Yeah, sure.
And we go to the public and apologize to them. Politicians do not apologize. The biggest problem.
Okay.
But in developed societies,
an apology is good.
In developed societies, if you promise people
and you fail
to, you must explain.
Yeah, true.
You must explain why you did not. And this is where I want us to go.
All right.
I want us to go and stop this nonsense of beating people who are not, they are helping us. Do you know that you cannot run this country without journalists? NRM would not have survived if the journalists were not there. They are the NRA itself. President Museveni got a lot of leverage because they were telling they were saying this man is not fit to rule this country. But when he would come and the story they give him.
They use it to bring in
yes, those stories when they would interview him, BBC, what they would hear him
during the war.
Now you can't come when you are the biggest beneficiary of the media.
Thank you.
You are the one who has established the media, and you want to break it down.
Honorable, we are running out of time. I will give a round of closing remarks from you. And let me read 1-2 messages. It's so shameful to NRM party and its government for seeing humble citizens as enemies and at the same time come back to seek for their support. Mwedeko, this is Saint Daniels. Thank you so much. I am Daniels. Hello, thanks for the show. According to what happened in Kawempe, I will never vote again. Doctor, thanks for the analysis. There, you appreciated for the analysis. And a disgruntled voter is now running away. Okay, from a civic duty. The kicks of a dying horse, okay, does not stop its death. Oh. Okay, we only have 4 minutes. Abel Kera Kampumuza, an ardent viewer, you sent messages, but I'm sorry, it is the time. He says, panel, the attack on journalists is totally regrettable. Journalists are doing their noble job. He thanks Honorable Barnabas. Okay, I am sorry, we are running out of time. Honorable Barnabas, just in 1 minute, make your final comment. I don't know if you direct it to your party in power? I don't know.
We are going in the coming elections. I would think NRM should know where we are strong and where we are weak. We maximize our energies where we are strong. And anyone, because President Museveni has to be in charge. If he is not going to be in charge and violence breaks out in any of the areas where NRM is strong, he will lose the next election. Oh. And for me, I would not want to see President Museveni. When I have fully, at this time around, I am out to campaign for him because I am convinced this saga I have seen of Muhozi, of Bob Wine, of what? He's the one who can contain this country at this particular stage. Then we position ourselves during this period when he's ruling to strategically look for a person who can lead this country properly.
Thank you. Baguma, your concluding remarks?
First, I want to congratulate the senior six, the senior six people. Even when we have all these things going wrong, something brightens us. So the results were out. I think they were saying they didn't perform as good.
No, 98.8% passed.
Okay. Now we need also explanation. I pay school fees for one of some, and they sent me and said something 5. I don't know, output 5 or something.
Result
5. So I need the explanation on that one. But I want to congratulate these ones and the teachers and the schools and education. We still go on.
Heading into 2026.
Yeah, it's heading into 2026. One hopes that the madness, the intoxication with power, privilege, the impunity, one hopes that it can be taken away.
Tamed.
It can be tamed. One hopes that not just the praise singers, not just the leakers of whatever part of the body will be the ones put on strategy design. That some sober, balanced, and not they're not so unbrainy.
Okay.
Will be put on the strategy table, and we can see different.
Thank you. Dr. Gerard, just in 1 minute.
Yeah, in 1 minute, I want to reflect on the Eria Kategaya Memorial Lecture, where one of the keynote speakers was Sir Richard Kaijuka, former minister here and former New Peace and Support. He challenged the president that it's high time you look for people around who are 75 years and above to give you better counsel, because they are not looking for jobs, but they are interested in seeing a smooth transition and a peaceful country. So
the president has a list of more than 100 advisors.
Yes, I will not be like other Ugandans who are simply calling the president Daddy, Jaja. There we lose. We lose because we elected the president as a president of the Republic of Uganda with executive powers. He's not your dad. He's not your grandfather. But we hold you accountable because you have to be in charge such that this situation is put under control.
Thank you. Black people should start treating ourselves with dignity and seeing ourselves as a race or family like other races do. Until we do so, the race will treat us with dignity and respect politically. Tulemedwa okwefuga. Monge Shafik from Nabingo and all others who sent in your messages, please thank you so much for being part of this big discussion. My name is Prince Apollo. Let's now wait for whatever will happen in 2026. We are here, but we pray that sanity prevails. Good afternoon. I must appreciate my panel, Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire and the management of Kagadi Broadcasting Services. Thank you so much for pushing our voices further Richard Baguma Tinkasimire, thank you so much. And Dr. Jared Werihe, it's always a pleasure having you here. The production team, thank you so much. Until next weekend, good afternoon. God bless you. God bless Uganda.